So you want to learn to draw and you don't know where to start. You have two options here. You can scour the millions of video tutorials on YouTube, or you can invest in a paid course. Now, why would I pay money for something I can get on YouTube for free? If you've been following my videos for any amount of time, you know that I love YouTube as a teaching resource, but I also find the sheer number of videos available somewhat overwhelming. Many of them are just little tasters of a course you have to then buy or join a Patreon to access, and some of the videos just aren't very good. What you save in money, you are often paying for in time, which is sometimes a choice I have willingly made. But after the first few months of my art re-education solely on YouTube, I began to branch out and explore Skillshare sites such as Udemy, Domestika and 21 Draw. One day I'll do a video on which site is my favourite out of the three, but today we are focusing on Domestika and Gabriella Nico's portrait sketchbooking course in particular. So let me give you my thoughts on this course while I complete the final project, which is to draw 3 portraits from 3 different views or angles: the front, the side and the 3/4 view. One of the biggest pros for YouTube is obviously that it's free, and if the artist has been kind enough to create a playlist of their full drawing course, all the better. But some of the cons for me are namely ads. I don't pay for YouTube, so I suffer through ads like a peasant. Sometimes the creator doesn't get around to finishing their course because YouTube is hard and it's typically not the creator's primary job, and staying motivated is also hard. I know, I've been guilty of this. I have a couple of unfinished series that I hope to get back to. And there are a lot of distractions on YouTube and I'm not great at staying focused. I paid $8.99 for the Gabriella Nico course on Domestika. I don't know if it's still at that price because I know they are pushing the subscription model, but I typically buy courses outright because I know that I don't have it in me to complete multiple courses a year. Maybe for someone who's completing multiple courses each month, the subscription model might make more sense financially. But some of the pros are that the course was beautifully shot, organised perfectly, there were copious additional resources all in one place, and probably my favourite thing, no ads. There are 4 units to this course: an introduction, the basics of drawing a face, the main project, and how to document your work for social media / a portfolio, etc. And then there's also the final project at the end, which has some additional guidance notes. In the introduction, we get to learn about Gabriella and her journey to becoming an artist. Art is such a personal thing, and I love hearing about other artists' journey to discovering and pursuing their passion, because we all know that you don't wake up good at this stuff. It takes practice, dedication and perseverance. So I love hearing where people whose art I love and admire have come from and how they kept motivated during the struggles. An interesting part of Gabriella's story is that her parents are also artists. Her dad is a portrait artist and her mum is a bit like me and dabbles in a bit of everything. And actually, Gabriella says that she was intimidated by becoming a portrait artist because her dad was so good and she looked up to him. But now that she's decided to take the leap and work on being a better portrait artist, she's actually been able to bond with him over that, which is very sweet to me. What I especially loved about this section was learning about Gabriella's influences. I've never studied art formally, and my artist knowledge is pretty limited to content creators and Vincent van Gogh. So it's nice to be introduced to other, older, more established artists and to see how their work can influence mine, and to also learn about their different art books and sources of inspiration that they took, and also some stuff that can be inspiration to me. The next section is all about the basics of drawing the face, and this pretty much sums up the point I was making earlier. I have a whole playlist, which I will link, of all the YouTube videos and resources I have used to go back to the basics and relearn the basic elements of the face. But you can also skip all that and just watch this section of Gabriella's course. She covers everything from shading techniques to facial proportions, and then goes over the structure of each facial features, eyes, nose, mouth, individually. And again, there are additional resources which also include compiled images for at-home practice. So instead of trawling through Pinterest and different photography sharing sites to find the right references to draw from, she's already done the work for you. One thing she doesn't spend much time on is the planes of the head. She mentions planes but doesn't really go in depth to explain what they are or how they help to construct portraits. And learning and practicing the planes of the head is something I found invaluable in my portrait practice. So I recommend seeking out additional videos for that. Not everyone's going to need it, but if you do, I'll link one up above. In Unit 3, you get to watch Gabriella sketch out 3 portraits, profile, 3/4 view and front view, in real time. Now, I have to say that I am guilty of watching YouTube videos at 2 times the speed, but I loved being able to see every mark, every erase, every pause in her drawing process, especially with reels and short form videos. It's easy to forget that some of the great pieces of art we see on the internet takes longer than 60 seconds to produce. So this was helpful to see her technique and also to have a more realistic idea of how long my art practice is going to take. One of my favourite things about this course is probably the additional resources. I love seeing all of Gabriella's influences and the books she uses for her own continual practice and inspiration. I'm a big reader and book collector, and there are several books from this course that I have definitely added to my to-buy list, and will probably be asking for them for Christmas and birthday presents because art books are expensive. I also love the forum/community of fellow learners. Being a self-taught artist can be lonely, and it's nice to be part of a forum of different abilities where you're all connected in your desire to learn more and improve. We're all sharing our pieces of art with varying degrees of success, but it's a fun and safe place to share your art where, you know, you're not looking for views, you're not looking for likes, you're just sharing it for the sake of sharing it and getting input. And Gabriella did comment on my portrait, so at least back when I posted it, she was still commenting. I don't know if she still is, but she did give me, it wasn't a lot of feedback, but she did give me feedback. For the convenience, the content and the quality, I would say that this course is well worth the $8.99 I paid for it. I've already completed it twice, and here is a side-by-side of my portraits the first time around and the second time around. I have a few other courses from Domestika, Udemy and 21 Draw that I've taken with varying degrees of success, and a few from some of the popular art course creators out there such as Kesh Art and Freya Art. So let me know if you want a review on those as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about a drawing app that I have found invaluable in my art practice, then I have a video just for you. See you next time. Goodbye.